Previously on The Case of the Ghost and the Hidden Tomb.
Hello? Hello? Johnny? Are you still there? Plink? Have you left again? Damn it! Hello?
Yes.
I thought the line had somehow been cut.
No, I'm still here.
Just caught up in the moment, or something else?
Something I was...
In the tomb.
Yes. In the pyramid. Underground. Buried alive.
You are listening to Dash, an interlude, The Case of the Ghost and the Hidden Tomb. Chapter 3, The Hidden Tomb.
The very walls in this tomb are lined with magic. Look!
So it was the professor and his enchantment that gave you the light in the darkness?
The ancient texts on the wall. They seem to speak to me.
Hello? Where the hell did you go?
Why leave when you haven't retrieved what you came to find?
What is this prayer? I need to know it. I opened my eyes. Everything was pitch black. My head was throbbing. My body ached. I could feel blood in the back of my head where Contra whacked me. I could feel the stone floor I'd collapsed on. And I could feel a growing sense of dread inside me. I looked around me, hoping to see something, anything. But all I saw was darkness. It reminded me of the life I once lived. The family I came from. The family Spence would be trapped in without me. And then I thought of Dash. The only one who ever gave me a chance to prove myself. And I wanted to, so much. Prove myself. Earn his trust. Be deserving of his love. Did I come this far to let him down? I looked up at the ceiling, hoping to see those beautiful engraved painted blue stars, but nothing. Just darkness. Darkness. But then, out of the darkness, one of the stars came into view. A little blue fleck inside a carved star. It had caught a small fragment of light that was coming from somewhere. I couldn't stand up. I was too woozy, so I crawled towards the star. And as I did, I saw the light, that tiny speck of light, growing brighter. And as it got brighter, I could see the ornate walls of the tomb again. Kaja thought he buried me, but I was still alive. I was still alive. I propped myself up against the wall, feeling the hieroglyphics carved into the stone. The ancient texts on the wall. They seemed to speak to me. The light source was coming from the next room. I made my way towards it, and I could now see it was a pure beam of light, and it was coming from a huge black box. The sarcophagus of the pharaoh. And something was inside. No, not something, someone.
You know...
Hello? Hello?
In here.
Show yourself.
In here.
I walked over to the black sarcophagus, and lying inside was...
Professor Abendigo Shu. At your service.
What are you doing?
Me? I am laying in a sarcophagus, and oh my, it is uncomfortable. If I was a mummy, I get up and walk away too.
Walk away?
I joke. King Unas could not do such a thing. His remains were carted off long ago. While he desperately wanted it, he did not have that kind of magic. His son Impetu, well, that's another matter.
Magic?
Yes. Look around. There's so much of it. The very walls in this tomb are lined with magic. Look! Spells, incantations, spoken by the gods themselves, passed down since the dawn of time, long before they were transcribed in the Book of the Dead. It's fascinating. I'll tell you all, but first, help me out of this overrated crate.
He offered me his hand, and when I took it, the room seemed to alight and come alive. The writings on the wall took on different shapes that appeared to detach from the pyramid chamber. They began to dance and tell stories and pray the prayers that had long been forgotten. And as he made his way out of the coffin, holding onto my hand, I looked into his eyes. I felt aroused, and I wanted to fall into his very being.
This is your passion. This is your desire. This is your destiny.
And then it broke.
You should have left him in that thing and sealed the lid.
He did say without him I'd be a dead man.
A dead man, indeed. So it was the professor and his enchantment that gave you the light in the darkness?
Well, it wasn't his enchantment per se. Where'd you get these flashlights?
Fun little contraptions, aren't they? Kaj's men.
The Egyptians guiding us across the desert?
Yes, them. While you and Kaja were poking around down here, I borrowed their flashlights.
You stole them?
I have never needed to steal a thing in my entire existence. Those men gave these to me freely. They gave me many other things as well.
I bet.
Also, your friend, who left you for dead here.
Not a friend. He'll be the dead one next time I see him.
I wouldn't worry about that.
What do you mean?
Well, both of you needed those Egyptians to cross the desert plains. You would not have found Sara without them. I'd wager you'd have a tough time finding your way back without them either.
Yeah.
After those men willingly gave me their flashlights and more, I sent them on their way, which means...
Codger is gonna have a hell of a time finding his way back without them.
Hello? Where the hell did you go? Hello?
Especially since they took all the supplies. At my suggestion. The desert sun is brutal, but the night can bring even more terrors.
But that doesn't help us get out of here now.
Why leave when you haven't retrieved what you came to find? What your heart truly desires. The cherub. The sword.
Is it even here? Looks like grave robbers picked this place clean long ago.
It does appear so.
So it is gone then.
Humans plunder what they can see. But only what they can see.
And what couldn't they see?
Look around you. Do you think Unas would have protected himself with all these spells to merely guard his remains?
I don't know anything about this Unas.
The walls will tell you.
I can't read this mumbo-jumbo.
It's not about being able to transcribe these ancient texts. It's about seeing what no one can see. Perhaps you have to shed light on the matter.
What do you mean?
The flashlight you are holding. Shine it on the walls.
But I've already done that.
Have you really? Try looking. Truly seeing.
It's just symbols. Wait a minute. How am I seeing this?
What do you see?
The wall. The stone itself. It's pointing to something.
What do you see?
The stone was pointing to something?
No. As I said, the walls were covered top to bottom with hieroglyphics, but the wall itself, that was also a huge carving. You just had to look at it from a certain point of view. Shine the light right where you could see it.
Like a relief?
I guess so.
Of what?
It was the outline of a man, and that man was pointing to a spot right behind the sarcophagus. I raced over to it, and there was some kind of panel in the wall. And once I pushed on it, it opened.
And what was inside?
A passageway. And I felt it again. Something was calling me. Summoning me. Crying out that I was right there. I was so close to everything I came so far to get. And once I got it, he'd see. He'd see. I did all this for him. I crawled through the narrow passageway. It was dark as death in there. It was getting hard to breathe, and it kept narrowing, but I kept crawling through. And crawling. And crawling until I was out of breath. I wondered if this would be my final resting place. And then I heard Professor Shu. I didn't know where he was. His voice seemed to be coming from every direction.
You are almost there. Keep going. Keep going.
I pushed myself further and further until finally my destination. The passageway opened into a large room, and even though I only had this flashlight to see with, the beauty of this undisturbed vault was overwhelming. The Pyramid of Unis had been picked over, but this place, it hadn't been seen in centuries. Its peace hadn't been invaded by robbers, raiders, or thieves.
But now it had.
No, I wasn't an invader. Something about being there. That presence calling me. I had been invited. And then I saw it.
That's where you found it.
On the far wall, there was a slab of granite that wasn't decorated with any glyphs or symbols. It stuck out from the rest of the chamber. On top of it sat a wooden box with no lid. And inside there was a small weapon. Almost childish. About as big as a toy something Spence would have. It looked like it had been carved out of a tree or something. And when I picked it up, it started to ignite.
Ignite?
A small flame came off this tiny weapon. But it wasn't so tiny anymore. It had grown somehow into a full-size blade.
Astonishing. Simply astonishing.
Were you right behind me the whole time?
In a manner of speaking. I see you have found what you seek.
This is it? This is what Artie wanted so desperately? Why?
Who knows why men do the things they do? Seek the things they seek. Covet what they know not.
How is it doing this? With the flame?
You would have to ask the gods that made it.
And how would I do that?
They're closer than you know. But it's not the gods you are after.
What is this place?
It's a tomb. A final resting place.
of these guys. The ones painted on the wall?
Yes. Joined in life and joined in death. Nyankunam and Kimonotep.
Say that again?
Nyankunam and Kimonotep. Their life together, depicted in paintings that adorn the walls. A story left behind for us to know, to remember, to maybe even aspire to. Look.
These guys, they don't look like brothers.
I assure you they were not. Although, many of our modern scholars would feel safer concluding so.
Many of your fellow professors?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because these men, their true love disrupts the lie that so many believe, that love is only for certain people. Those that fit a specific mold. If you aren't that, you simply won't fit. Look at these beautiful men, painted, depicted, embracing in so many different yet tender positions. You yourself relate to them in this way, don't you?
Not sure what you mean.
You are in love with a man. That is why you are here. That is why you dug into the very depths of Egypt's ancient and sordid past. Why you have sought after the oldest weapon in creation. What you hold in your hand could decide the destiny of the entire world. Whoever is the master of the cherub could change the fate of humanity. But you don't care. You only care for him. When you look at the story of Nyankunam and Kimonotep, you see yourself reflected, don't you?
Yes.
That is what you truly desire, isn't it?
It is.
And you would give anything for that, wouldn't you?
What happened to them?
Just look around, Johnny Plinketts. See what has been lost to centuries, and let their story come alive for you.
And like the walls in the Pyramid of Unas, the story etched into the stone came alive.
Nyankunam and Kimonotep. They met in the royal palace. They worked side by side in service of their kingdom, their pharaoh, their gods. They fought to protect the land. They hunted and procured resources for the country. They advised and counseled their king. And every morning, they made offerings to the gods. They were looked on fondly from every citizen and royal. Even the gods themselves had to take notice of their devotion. But as devoted as these two men were to all that was Egypt, they were also devoted to each other. They availed themselves for a higher purpose, and in doing so, they found love.
You have emerged in me.
The passion they felt for one another was a fire that burned bright for Egypt during the day. But at night, it ignited in their bed.
So I have emerged in you.
Years and years they served side by side, always together. Each victory, every accomplishment, all their success earned together.
Together.
Joined in life, joined in death.
You keep saying that.
For it is true. Look around. It is very rare that two men of such importance are buried together, ready to face the afterlife with one another.
The afterlife?
As I've said, their devotion was evident to all, even to the gods. And one night, as they held each other in the darkness, the Almighty Atum gave them a blessing, a prayer, one so strong that it would connect them always, in life, in death.
How so?
For when they spoke the prayer aloud, no matter how far away they were, they would be instantly together, The prayer itself would join them, transport each other across a vast distance instantaneously through the river of life, across the horizon of death.
What is this prayer? I need to know it.
Can't you read? It's right over there, carved in the doorframe.
He pointed across the room to a doorway. It was framed by a massive construct, intricately detailed with such spectacular hieroglyphics. They shimmered when I came close to them. And I stood there for, I can't even tell you how long, just taking it in, reading it, over and over. I was committing it to memory. Now, I can't translate that mumbo-jumbo. I don't know how to speak Egyptian, let alone read an ancient language. But it was somehow engraving itself into me, so I would never forget. I'd always remember. I could draw them for you now from memory if I needed it.
What does it say?
It's the prayer.
What does it say?
The bridge.
What does it say?
Everything I want to say to him.
Imagine that.
This door. How do you open it? What's on the other side?
Nothing and everything.
Don't answer me in riddles, damn it.
It's what some people call a false door, because there is nothing on the other side. In this reality.
This reality?
False doors only appear as actual doorways to this realm. For those who have passed over, those on the other side, it is used as a passageway, a portal back to this realm.
So there's no way through it?
Well...
And as he said that, the doorframe appeared to glow. It came alive with truth. It opened with everything my heart wanted to say. A vast light filled the tomb of these lovers who were connected in death and in life. That voice. I know that voice. I'm coming.
Yes.
I walked towards it because I knew I'd find it on the other side. How to give him everything. A new life. One that I wanted for him. And then...
Johnny? Johnny! Are there... Come back! Come back!
You have been listening to Dash, an Interlude, The Case of the Ghost and the Hidden Tomb, starring Christopher Tolomeo, Cathy Mostek, Thomas Robert Irvin, Leigh Jacobs, Sara Luciano, and Carlos Jiga. Written and directed by Dave Ebersole. Sound design by Mick Lauro. Music by Christopher Tolomeo and Mick Lauro. Cover art by Vinnie Rico. Executive producer Mick Lauro. Dash created by Dave Ebersole and Delia Gable. Dash the podcast is a Light Booth Blackout production. Thank you for listening. I'm John Barker. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled. Once you know what to watch for, you always know there's more to the story.